The South China Sea appeared calm, its turquoise waters glistening under the morning sun, giving little hint of the tension simmering just beneath the surface. For centuries, these waters have been a crossroads of trade, culture, and conflict. But on this day, a new chapter was unfolding, one that would capture the attention of the world. At the heart of this vast expanse, a tense confrontation was underway. Two opposing forces, each representing the pride and interests of their nations, found themselves locked in a silent, high-stakes standoff. The air was thick with anticipation as every maneuver was watched, every signal scrutinized. The BRP Suluan, a lone Philippine Navy ship, was encircled by 22 imposing Chinese vessels. The Chinese ships, larger and more numerous, formed an intimidating wall around the smaller Philippine vessel, their presence a clear message of dominance and control. On board the Suluan, Philippine sailors braced themselves for a standoff that would echo far beyond these waters. Each sailor knew the gravity of the moment. They were not just defending a ship, but standing as guardians of their nation's sovereignty and dignity. This was more than a display of military might. It was a symbolic clash over sovereignty, history, and national pride. The standoff was a stark reminder that the South China Sea is not just a body of water, but a stage where the ambitions of powerful nations collide. The Scarborough Shoal, a small but strategic outcrop, had become the flashpoint for this confrontation. Its rocky formations, barely rising above the waves, hold immense significance for both countries, serving as a symbol of territorial claims and a gateway to rich fishing grounds and potential energy reserves. Dwarfed by the Chinese fleet, the Philippine ship embodied a nation's resolve to defend its rights, no matter the odds. The sailors' determination was visible in their steady gazes and disciplined movements, a testament to their commitment to their homeland. As the world watched, the standoff highlighted the volatility of international politics. News outlets broadcast live updates, analysts debated the implications, and governments issued statements of concern. The eyes of millions were fixed on this remote corner of the sea, aware that the outcome could shape the future of the region. The balance of power in the region hung in the balance, with every decision carrying the weight of history and the hopes of nations. In these tense moments, the world was reminded that peace is fragile, and that the struggle for sovereignty and respect can ignite even in the calmest of seas. Scarborough Shoal, though small, is vital to both the Philippines and China. For generations, Filipino fishermen relied on its waters, which lie within the Philippines' exclusive economic zone under international law. China, however, cites ancient maritime history to justify its claims. The shoal's location in resource-rich waters and along key shipping routes makes it a strategic prize. Control here means influence over trade and resources, fueling the ongoing dispute. Scarborough Shoal is more than rocks and reefs, it's a symbol of national pride and regional power. In August 2025, tensions erupted at Scarborough Shoal. The BRP Suluan, on a resupply mission, was blocked by Chinese vessels, leading to a collision between a Chinese Coast Guard cutter and a destroyer. The damaged vessel underscored the risks of these maritime standoffs. Chinese ships used water cannons to force the Philippine ship back, escalating the confrontation. Manila condemned the aggression, vowing to defend its sovereignty. Footage of the incident spread globally, raising fears of wider conflict. The standoff was a stark reminder of the region's fragile peace. The clash at Scarborough Shoal had a human toll. What began as a territorial dispute quickly became a daily struggle for those whose lives are tied to these waters. For generations, Filipino fishermen have relied on the rich fishing grounds around Scarborough Shoal to provide for their families. Now the presence of foreign vessels and the threat of confrontation have made each journey to sea a risk. Many fishermen speak of fear and anxiety, unsure if they will be able to return home safely, or if their catch will be seized. Reports of casualties among Chinese Coast Guard personnel brought the cost of confrontation into sharp focus. These incidents serve as a stark reminder that behind every headline, there are individuals, sons, fathers, and friends, whose lives are forever changed by these encounters. The tension at sea is not just about ships and boundaries, but about the people who serve on the front lines, often far from their loved ones, facing unpredictable dangers. For Philippine sailors, the standoff was a test of courage and duty. Each patrol brought uncertainty, as they navigated not only the physical dangers of the sea, but also the emotional weight of defending their nation's sovereignty. Many sailors spoke of pride in their mission, but also of the stress and worry that comes with the responsibility of protecting their homeland. Local fishing communities now face danger and uncertainty in their traditional waters. The once familiar sea has become a place of tension, where livelihoods are threatened by the presence of foreign ships and the risk of conflict. Families worry about the future, as access to vital fishing grounds is restricted and incomes dwindle. The incident exposed how geopolitical disputes disrupt everyday lives. In coastal villages, routines have been upended, children watch warships from the shore, and parents wonder how long they can endure the uncertainty. The standoff has brought anxiety and hardship, but also a sense of unity as communities come together to support one another. Internationally, it sparked debate about the human cost of territorial rivalries. Diplomats and leaders discuss strategies and policies, but for those on the ground, the consequences are immediate and personal. The world watches, but it is the local people who bear the brunt of these disputes. Behind the headlines are real people, whose futures are shaped by these decisions. Their hopes, dreams, and fears are often overlooked in the broader narrative of international politics, yet they are the ones who live with the outcomes every day. Scarborough Shoal is not just a battleground, it's a human story. It is a place where the struggle for territory collides with the struggle for survival, and where the resilience of ordinary people is tested by forces far beyond their control. In early 2023, China made headlines by announcing its intention to designate Scarborough Shoal, a small but strategically significant atoll in the South China Sea, as a national nature reserve. The move was met with immediate skepticism and concern from the international community, with many questioning the true motives behind the declaration. While China framed the decision as a step toward environmental protection, critics around the world saw it as a calculated legal maneuver, designed to reinforce Beijing's sweeping territorial claims over the disputed waters, and to provide a new justification for ramping up its presence and enforcement activities in the area. Legal experts and diplomats quickly pointed out that such declarations can be used to legitimize increased patrols, restrict access to foreign vessels, and assert administrative control, all under the guise of environmental stewardship. By invoking conservation, China could sidestep accusations of outright militarization, while still tightening its grip on a region that is both ecologically sensitive and geopolitically vital. The Philippines, which also claims Scarborough Shoal and relies on its rich fishing grounds, responded with swift and vocal protest. Filipino officials condemned the move as a direct threat to their nation's sovereignty and economic interests, warning that it could further escalate tensions in an already volatile maritime region. The government in Manila called on the international community to reject what it described as a thinly veiled attempt to change the status quo. Many analysts believe that the Nature Reserve Declaration could serve as a pretext for future construction, or even the establishment of disguised military outposts. In the past, similar moves elsewhere in the South China Sea have paved the way for the building of artificial islands, airstrips, and radar installations, all under the banner of environmental management or scientific research. China's use of environmental claims to legitimize its ambitions is seen by many as part of a broader, long-term strategy. By framing its actions as responsible stewardship, Beijing seeks to deflect criticism and win support from countries concerned about ecological preservation, even as it consolidates control over contested waters. Observers, however, are quick to point out the irony. Despite the rhetoric of conservation, China's activities in the South China Sea, including large-scale dredging, construction, and overfishing, have caused significant environmental damage, destroying coral reefs and threatening marine biodiversity. This contradiction has not gone unnoticed by neighboring countries and environmental groups. Ultimately, China's Nature Reserve Declaration at Scarborough Shoal highlights the complex and often contentious intersection of conservation and geopolitics in the South China Sea. As regional powers and international organizations debate the true intent behind Beijing's move, the world is reminded that in these disputed waters, environmental policy and strategic ambition are often deeply intertwined. The Scarborough Shoal Standoff is just one example of China's assertive actions in 2025. From combat readiness drills to intercepting Philippine aircraft, China has escalated its presence in disputed waters. These moves are designed to deter rivals and cement control. Legal tactics, like the nature reserve claim, complement military maneuvers. The international community has condemned these actions as destabilizing. For the Philippines, defending sovereignty has become increasingly challenging. The events of 2025 underscore the ongoing struggle for control in the South China Sea. The United States responded to the Scarborough Shoal crisis by reaffirming its alliance with the Philippines. Any attack on Philippine forces could trigger the Mutual Defense Treaty. U.S. warships deployed to the area, sending a clear signal to China. This presence serves as a deterrent and bolsters Manila's position. The U.S. also supports the Philippines diplomatically, urging respect for international law. For Manila, the alliance is crucial in countering Chinese assertiveness. International partnerships remain vital in addressing South China Sea disputes. The Scarborough Shoal Standoff reflects the broader contest for the South China Sea. Overlapping claims and strategic interests make the region a potential flashpoint. China's aggressive tactics and legal maneuvers reveal its ambitions. The Philippines, backed by the U.S., stands firm on its rights. The rivalry has major implications for regional security and global trade. International law remains central, but enforcement is a challenge. Future confrontations are likely as both sides hold their ground. The world watches as the struggle for the South China Sea continues to shape the region's future.